Okay, so next we got a task 2 essay, discuss both views and give your opinion. So in the typical discuss both views question, you're going to do your introduction paragraph, you're going to do your argument A paragraph, you're going to do your argument B paragraph, explore the opposite side, and then your final paragraph is going to be your conclusion. Okay. So that's the sort of typical structure. In your conclusion, you need to make sure you're giving me your opinion again in your conclusion. And the best essays will also include your opinion in, body 2 and body 3. Because you should be explaining as you go along, like, do you agree or disagree with this side? Or do you think this argument is strong or weak? Okay, and then you should also let me know in your introduction. Minimum, you should let me know in your introduction and conclusion about your opinion. Okay, but the best essays will be able to do that as they go along. Let's have a look at the topic. The tendency of human beings to copy one another is increasing in popularity. Is this a positive or a negative development? What can be done about it? Okay, so they're asking you to decide if it's positive or negative, and then they're asking you to sort of give a solution. So this is kind of indicating that it's actually kind of like a negative trend, but you should also be sort of giving some kind of solutions to the issue. So let's see what this candidate has done. For many years, plagiarism, excellent paraphrase of copy plagiarism. Plagiarism existed in every work making controversial issues. This sentence doesn't really make sense here. Making controversial issues. I can't really understand what they're trying to say. For many years, plagiarism has been a controversial issue in many areas, or plagiarism in work has been a hotly contested issue. Maybe they mean to say, but this is slightly confusing. Many people believe that copying others can have bad effects without any merits. In this essay, I will discuss various opinions on this topic and the reason why I think that plagiarism should be sublated. Now, sublated, I mean, it is a word. It kind of means like to taken out or remove, but it's a very, very unusual word to use, and not in a good way. As in, this is, I think most people wouldn't know what this word is if it's used. Even sort of academics or people who teach at university might not know this word. So this is a sort of like a bad word choice because it's too outdated to use. Okay, it's not in common use in academic papers or current research or anything. So this is a sort of an odd word choice here. But again, I like the way they use plagiarism. They've given me an opinion, which I always appreciate in an introduction. And I kind of like this phrasing that they've used in this sentence. I think this is a good phrase sentence. Let's have a look. Some people say that a human's ability can be cultivated by mimicking others' work. Some work, such as art, in some works such as art, this can make a big development. As art, this should be linked. As art is a difficult area to make their own style for the beginners. Oh, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. No, sorry, that should be a full stop. As art is a difficult area to make their own style for beginners, a lot of apprentices study and practice to create their work by copying other prominent artists' masterpieces. This tendency can be set up for an educational purpose and utilized to teach students. Thus, mimicking each other's work can be justified and can foster many potential students. Okay, tendency. This is a lot of very good vocabulary. Okay, I really like mimic is another really good. So far they've done copy, they've done plagiarize, and they've done mimicking. So these are all sort of paraphrases. I mean, typically plagiarize is usually used for a strictly academic sense. When you turn in your homework or your research paper and you've copied it from someone, that's called plagiarism. Mimicking tends to sort of be more sort of about body language, or mimicking someone's behavior, mimicking their speech, mimicking their style. It tends to be more practical, but these are all fine paraphrases of each other in this context. So this is a nice logical argument. They kind of surprised me. I didn't think of it this way, but yeah, the positives of plagiarism in the art department are important. There was a couple of issues, a couple of grammar sort of issues coming along, but nothing super serious. So I can still understand what they mean. However, plagiarism is one type of violence towards copyright. We wouldn't tend to use violence towards copyrights. Violence always tends to be kind of physical or otherwise specified. We would not say violence toward a copyright or violence towards a law. It's one type, we call it technically in English, breach of copyright. Okay, that would be the sort of technical way to say it. The rights of creators should be respected and protected by keeping their works' own soulness conserved, by keeping their own works' own privacy conserved, or originality, conserved or like protected or respected, or we've already said respected. I see why they went for conserved. Okay, this is slightly an odd ending to the sentence, but sure. In addition, since the creation has its intrinsic worth, copying the creator's work can damage the value of creations and deter creators' inspiration and creativity. Okay, intrinsic worth, great vocabulary. The value of creations, great. Deter, great vocabulary. Inspiration, creativity, nice. Development and innovation can come from particularity and soulness. And I think this soulness isn't really a word. It's like individuality. Or maybe they also mean uniqueness. Thus, the public has to preserve creation's own value and try to find their own production by rejecting plagiarism. Okay, so again, nice. It's a good argument. It's a logical argument. It's well argued. The vocabulary is excellent. They've got a couple of two basically sort of reasonably major confusions in their words, but I can understand their meaning and follow along. In conclusion, many creative works brought astonishing development to human society with their own value and creativity. Although there are some opinions that human beings can make progress copying other advances, I believe that mankind can produce innovation in the undiscovered era and it will lead to a better society. Okay, so the only thing that they've not really covered is suggesting any solutions to, this issue of copying and plagiarism, or any ways to stop it or restrict it. Other than we have to reject plagiarism. So that's my only issue, is they've not really fully addressed the task, because they've not addressed how do we stop the bad forms of plagiarism. So you told us some reasons why plagiarism can be okay, but you've not really sort of explained what we can do about it. So that's my only concern. So in terms of task achievement, I'd probably give it a 6, because they're sort of missing that sort of chunk out of it. Coherence and cohesion, again, I would want to give a 6 for that, because it was quite logical, nice paragraphs, nice, well structured. It flowed together quite well. Vocabulary I thought was very good, so I'd want to give a 6.5 for vocabulary. In terms of the grammar, I would want to give a 6 for that, because there were some sort of mistakes in that very first sentence in the introduction. I couldn't understand the meaning, so that their issues prevented my understanding them. So that would bring them to an overall 6.0. So for this candidate, if I was telling them on things to improve, I would tell them to make sure they read the question carefully and think a little bit more about their structure. And I would ask them to go through and check those kind of mistakes and issues that I've pulled up, and make sure they're working on those. So overall, I thought a very good effort, a solid essay, nicely argued, logically argued, which is something that's very difficult to do. Just needed a little bit more development to address the task fully.